Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about two things. Number one, time. Number two, temperature. Now, keep it in tradition with the Irish Mondays, even though I haven't kept any of the other days of the week that I said I was going to. I want to talk to you about the differences between the States and here. Alright, so we are going to start with time. Now, in the States we use the 12-hour clock, and we have the AM and PM to signify which half of the day that it's used on. But here in Ireland, and most of Europe, from my understanding, they use the 24-hour clock, which we in America call military time. Now, from what I have learned, a lot of Americans don't know the 24-hour clock. I find that really odd, mainly because I guess I grew up kind of with it. My dad always had clocks that were 24 hours, and he would oftentimes quiz me and say, okay, you know, it's 1600 hours, what does that mean? So I kind of grew up with it, so I didn't really have a transitionary period. In fact, I kind of always liked the 24-hour clock, and it's really simple, okay? And this is how I view it. Basically, 1 to 12 is the same. So 1 o'clock in the morning to noon is the same. And what happens is at 12, it doesn't go back to 1, it just keeps going. So 12 to 13, 14, 15, 19, 20, and on. So it's really simple, and I'm not really sure how everybody else looks at it. But you can do the whole just subtract 12 kind of thing, or in my head I just kind of subtract 2 and just kind of drop the remainder. So if it's 1800 hours, I just know I take 8 minus 2 is 6, there you go, it's 6 o'clock. If it's 24, 22, and I already know that there's no 20s in the 12-hour clock, so I'll just make that a 1. To me, I kind of do it all in my head, but so essentially like 1300 would be 1, you know. 1600 would be 4. So you just kind of subtract the 2 or the 12, depending on how you look at it, and it's really simple. Now it's kind of funny because I actually had a friend from Germany who asked me one time. She said, she's like, "How do you guys know on the 12-hour clock what time you're gonna meet somebody?" I kind of looked at her. I was like, "What do you mean? How do we know?" She's like, "How do you know if it's morning or night?" And I just kind of thought about it for a second, and you know, it's one of those things where it's implied, you know. Because we don't go around saying, okay, I'll see you at 7:30 p.m. We don't say that. But we know that, you know, if we say, hey, I'm going to meet you at 7:30 for dinner, it means p.m. Like, we know it's at night. Because, you know, like, I mean, I can imagine, you know, like, you meet somebody and you're like, hey, you know, let's do something. Yeah, sure, meet me at 7. And you show up to their house at 7 in the morning. They're going to be like, what the hell are you doing here at 7 o'clock in the morning? Get out, go away, and just don't contact me again. You know, like, it's just more of the common sense thing where it's just kind of intuitive and we just know what we're talking about. But I thought it was interesting that she was really confused about how we would know what time. And it's partially because she was German, and no offense to any Germans or anything, but they're very schedule, like, oriented, you know? They plan their days out, they plan their times, they plan everything. So, you know, like, they want to know, okay, it's 7:05 p.m. so they can mark in their calendar or their mental calendar or their PDA or whatever they have. They're usually very strict on times and stuff like that. But yeah, so I thought that was really interesting that that she didn't really understand how we kept track of it, which I thought was kind of interesting. So those are just two things that I found interesting when I came over here to Ireland, the Celsius and the 24-hour clock. So, you've learned a little bit about my experience since being in Ireland and kind of some differences. And if you want to know anything else, let me know in the doobly-doo. Let me know if there's anything you're curious about of Ireland. Because I have, you know, some ideas of what I want to talk to you guys about on Mondays. But let me know if there's anything that you are curious about Ireland. Or about the differences, if you're Irish, about the differences between Ireland and America. So let me know what you think. Alright? And I'll talk to you later. Bye. There we go. Okay. Pod racing goggles. You have to use the pod racing 3D goggles while I talk about Star Wars. So Star Wars was pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. Now, I'm not one of those people